Companies are deepening investment in privacy protection as they scale up artificial intelligence adoption, with 40% of organizations dedicating more than 30% of their budgets to privacy. This is according to a report titled AI Privacy Equation, Nigerian Model of Responsible AI Adoption, conducted by Arion Research on behalf of Zoho. Welcome to Business Point, where we extract the Nigerian economy and the government policies. I am Kike Lomo Okeri. According to the report, Nigerian firm invests over 30% of its IT budget in privacy protection. The study noted that this indicates a growing recognition among Nigerian businesses that strong governance is a source of competitive advantage. Nigerian businesses are not just adopting AI, they are embedding it responsibly. 94% of organizations now have a dedicated privacy officer or team, a figure well above global average. This financial sector is leading this transformation, marking up to 29% of the respondents in the survey. The sector's top AI use cases include customer service automation with 49%, for software development and enhancement 46%, and marketing optimization with 32%. It is being implemented with a strong emphasis on privacy principles. Despite the progress, skills shortage remain a key challenge. About 37% of organizations cited lack of technical experts as their top barrier to AI adoption, while 35% pointed to privacy and security concern. To address this gap, 69% of companies are prioritizing data analysis and interpretation skills, 53% are focused on AI literacy, and 40% are investing in prompt engineering for generating AI tools. The report also found that nearly 65% of organizations have increased their regulatory conscious since the introduction of Nigeria's Data Protection Act. Companies are adopting practices such as regular privacy audits of AI systems with 57%. Data minimization of AI training and explainability requirements for AI decision with 52%. The findings shows that executive leadership is central to the rapid progress of AI in Nigeria. More than half of the respondents occupy CEO or executive role, highlighting the top level commitment to scaling AI adoption. The report, which surveyed 386 respondents across Nigeria, found that 93% of organizations have already embarked on their AI journey. Of these, 31% have achieved advanced integration across the organization, while 26.5% are implementing AI across multiple departments. The Federal Inland Revenue Service has certified the eTransact International PLC as a provider for its nationwide e-invoicing rollout, thus expanding the collaboration that began with VAT automation under Tax Administration 2.0, according to a statement from the firm. The approval strengthens eTransact's position as a trusted partner in government's lead digitization of tax and business processes. The FIRS e-invoicing platform, the merchant buyer solution, introduced structured digital invoice across business to business, business to consumers, business to government transaction. By design, it simplifies tax processes, enhances compliance, and improves transparency in the economy. At the unveiling of the eTransact and other service providers, the acting director of tax automation at FIRS, Mike Adoga, says the certified providers met rigorous requirements, including nationwide service capacity, proving security, neutrality, and scalability with technical input from the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA. The Chief of Staff to Executive Chairman of FIRS, Tayo Kole-Oshu, explained that the provider were carefully selected based on their ability to deliver at scale. He says NITDA's role was critical in tightening data protection and cybersecurity on platforms, giving taxpayers confidence that their information is safe, the process is transparent. On his part, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the eTranzact International PLC, Niyi Toluwalope, described the e-invoicing as a platform for innovation in business-to-government transaction. He says this certification builds on eTranzact track record of supporting national tax automation. In 2017, under Tax Administration 2.0, the company partnered with FIRS and leading banks to deploy API system for secure VAT and WHT reporting through Tax Pro Max. The infrastructure established a new standard for digital transparency in tax reporting and laid the foundation for Tax Administration 3.0. In addition to tax solution, eTranzact delivers technology that addresses government and institutional needs. In 2024, it deployed a verification system for the military pension board, enabling pensioners within Nigeria and abroad to authenticate their identities seamlessly. The firm says that through the e-invoicing rollout, eTranzact is helping FIRS to achieve its mandate of digitizing invoicing nationwide while bringing to bear 2 decades of experience in building secure, scalable, and trusted technology that meets international standards yet remain locally relevant. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies, a group known as OPEC Plus, has decided to ramp up oil output by 137,000 barrels per day in October. OPEC made the announcement in a statement on its website after a virtual meeting with its members. The participating countries include Saudi Arabia, Russia, Iraq, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Kazakhstan, Algeria, and Oman. Reviewed global market condition and outlook. The 8 participating countries decided to implement a production and adjustment of 137,000 barrels per day from the 1.65 million barrels per day. Additionally, voluntary adjustments announced in April 2023. It's noted that the global economic outlook is steady and current market fundamentals are healthy, which is reflected in the low oil inventories. OPEC says the 1.6 million barrels per day may be returned in full, in parts or in full, subject to evolving market conditions in gradual manner. The foreign portfolio inflow on the Nigerian stock market has increased by 354.4% to 609.73 billion naira in 7 months of 2025, against 134.19 billion naira in 7 months of 2022. The domestic and foreign transaction report released by the Nigerian Exchange Limited shows that the total foreign inflow increased by 369.2% to 1.281 trillion naira in 7 months in the year 2025, against 273.16 billion naira in 7 months in 2022. A further analysis shows that total transactions at the nation's bourse increased significantly by 240.8% to 6.008 trillion naira in 7 months in 2025, from 1.763 trillion naira in 7 months in 2022. Analysis of the NGX report further shows that the domestic retail investors transaction increased by 311.6% to 1.988 trillion naira in 7 months in 2025 from 482.79 billion naira in 7 months in 2022. While the domestic institutional investors transaction grew by 171.9% to 2.738 trillion naira in 7 months in 2025 against 1.007 trillion naira in 7 months in 2022. Meanwhile, on year-to-date 2025, the foreign inflow grew by 128.7% to 607.73 billion naira from 266.64 billion naira year-to-date as at July 2024. The foreign outflow year-to-date grew by 102.7% to 671.56 billion naira from 33.36 billion naira the corresponding period in 2024. Meanwhile, on the performance of the markets over the last 2 decades, domestic transaction increased by 33.15% from 3.556 trillion naira in 2007 to 4.735 trillion naira in 2024, while foreign transaction also increased by 38.31% from 616 billion naira to 852 billion naira over the same period. Total domestic transaction accounted for about 85% of the total transaction carried out in 2024, while foreign transaction accounted for 15% of the total transaction in the same period. The transaction data for 2025 shows that total domestic transaction are approximately 4.7269 trillion naira, while total foreign transaction are approximately 1.28123 trillion naira. All right, let's take a quick short break. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Stay with us. Its business points will extract the Nigerian economy and the government policies. In Indonesia, stock gave up early gains to finish lower even as the rupee strengthened following the ousting of the finance minister Sri Mulyani Indrawati in cabinet shake-up. The prospect of an imminent U.S. Federal Reserve interest rate cut following weaker than expected labor data for August contributed to declined treasury yields for the 4th consecutive days. MSCI grade of global stock rose to 0.35% to 959.07%, while the Pan-European Stock 600 index advanced 0.28% and emerging market stock gained 0.58%. In Asia, MSCI Broadcast Index of Asia Pacific shares outside Japan climbed to 0.67%, while Japan's Nikkei jumped to 1.45% to 43,643.81 points. U.S. markets were mixed, with Dow Jones Industrial Average slightly lower, while S&P 500 and Nasdaq rose to 0.31% and 0.82% respectively, as investors awaited the economic data in the week. Oil price recovered modestly and gold surged past $3,600 an ounce, supported by expectation that the Fed will cut interest rates next week. According to reports, global investors continue to balance economic optimism with political risk across major economies. Reports added that currency movements, particularly the weakening dollar, are enhancing return in foreign stock indices. The Nigerian exchange resumed the new week trading week on a positive note, gaining 263 billion naira in market capitalization as investors took position in consumers goods and insurance stock, particularly PZ Cuson Nigeria and University Press PLC. At the close of transaction on Monday, the market capitalization of listed equity rose to 88.2 trillion naira from 87.9 trillion naira recorded in the previous session, representing a growth of 263 billion naira. Similarly, the benchmark all-share index advanced by 414.74 points, that is 0.3%, to close at 139,394.75 points. The day trading shows a turnover of 947.83 million shares worth 17.96 billion naira exchanged in 36,600 deals. This represents a 48% decline in volume when compared to the previous trading day, but 12% improvement in turnover and a 46% increase in the number of deals. Markets brief closed on a positive note with 41 gainers against 18 losers. PZ Cuson Nigerian led the gainers chart, appreciating 10% to close at 35.20 per share. It was followed by University PLC, which also gained 10% to close at 5.50 per share. Ella Lakes PLC rose to 9.94% to 14.27 naira, while Legend Internet Market appreciate to 9.90% to 5.44 naira per share. Zenith Bank recorded 26.73 million units valued at 1.73 billion naira. A breakdown of the sectoral performance shows that NGX Insurance Index led with the gains of 3.16% to close higher, followed by NGX Consumer Goods Index, which advanced 0.6%. The NGX Main Board Index rose to 0.54%. The NGX Top 30 Index inched up to 0.11%, and the NGX Industrial Index added 0.00%. However, NGX Oil and Gas Index closed flat. Overall, NGX posted a one-week loss of 0.64% and a four-week loss of 4.36%, but it has so far maintained a year-to-date gain of 35.34%, reflecting sustained investors' appetite in selected blue-chip stocks. All right, this is where we draw the curtain on Business Point today. Join me again tomorrow on Global Television, channel 365 on DSTV and 276 on Star Times. Till I come your way again, I am Kike Lomo Ukeri. I celebrate you all.